Mark Jacobs.
Good morning. This morning we have the Executive Director of StartUp Hutch. Hopefully I got that position correct. Klemme is in. He's been here for about a month. Good morning.
Good morning, Mark. Thanks for having me.
So how's your first month gone?
Oh, it's been great. This town, everyone's been incredibly welcoming and supportive. I'm grateful to be here. This is the kind of work I love to do, and to have a community where everyone's kind of aligned, working together to make things happen. It's a real blessing.
Tell me a little bit about your background. We talked a little bit earlier about the fact that you came from Minnesota, but...
So I moved here from Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's where I spent the last year or so. I'm originally from Iowa City, Iowa. So I spent the first 22 years of my life in Iowa City, spent 5 years in San Francisco, briefly lived in New York until the pandemic hit. Then I went to grad school in Massachusetts, was back in Iowa, then to Minnesota, and now here.
So what exactly is it that your position entails at StartUp Hutch?
Oh, sure. That's a great question. So first off, I run the organization. So I prepare the board of directors, make sure that they have everything they need for our meetings, that they're clued into daily activities. We have one staff member, Christopher Acker. Christopher's fantastic. We just convinced him to stay on with us full time, which was a huge win for the organization. But in terms of day-to-day activities, we support local businesses and entrepreneurs throughout Reno County, and we'll do the broader region too. So we'll work with anyone. We have lending programs, so we work with Network Kansas to administer lower interest rate loans to entrepreneurs and small businesses. Primarily, it's gap financing, and the ones that we administer are up to $50,000. They have a suite of loan programs that go up to $150,000. Sometimes there's a match required, so if you have another bank involved, that really helps. But so that's kind of our financing angle. We have some programs that we've run historically, an accelerator program for folks who have ideas to help them kind of get started. And we have a youth entrepreneurship program that we're really trying to revamp this year.
All right. How different is StartUp Hutch from organizations you've worked for in the past?
It's similar to some, different than others. I've done a variety of work in my career. So I spent 6 years working in technology policy. So I started my career at Airbnb. Actually, I worked in politics before that, just as like a grassroots organizer. And that, got me trained as a community organizer so I can work with communities really effectively. But then I was in tech policy. So at Airbnb, I worked in marketing for a company called Fiverr. And then I worked for a think tank called Engine Advocacy, which does advocacy for startups. So I worked really closely with the Kauffman Foundation out of Kansas City. Right. And all of that kind of got me to the point where I wanted to get away from public policy and more into the traditional business sphere. So I went to grad school, did an MBA at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. And then I started working really hands-on with entrepreneurs, helping mostly high-tech startups scale and grow. But what this relates to most is a job I had after grad school. For a couple of years, I ran an accelerator for a firm called Builders and Backers. And we would help people who had ideas kind of get them off the ground. And we'd give them $5,000 in non-dilutive funding. So, grant money to run experiments, kind of test their ideas, see if it works. And we would do large cohorts, like 100 at a time, all across the country. This job is a lot like that, working with entrepreneurs, people who have ideas, anything from your local nonprofit to a high scale kind of tech business. Okay.
What kind of vision do you have for where StartUp Hutch will go?
Oh yeah, I have. So I have some core goals. The first one is we really want to work more closely with the community college. We're grateful for them as a partner. We work out of the community college offices at the Peel Center at 1 East 9th, right across the street from here. But we would like to engage students more, work with professors in the administration to, proliferate entrepreneurship as a concept. I'm looking at new pipelines. So how can we access like new groups of people in the community that maybe don't consider themselves entrepreneurs, but are inherently entrepreneurial? Those might be artists, creatives, and other sort of groups of folks. So we're looking at some programming there. We've talked with the Arts Center about partnering on some programming to help artists, learn business skills. We definitely want to revamp and scale up our youth entrepreneurship program. We can use it to position ourselves as a regional leader. So we're thinking about things like maybe we should have a competition here and invite all the surrounding counties. So that is an idea. We want to build stronger relationships with the Wichita and that whole corridor. We'll probably get down there a couple times a month and meet with. There are a lot of organizations there that are doing work that's aligned with ours.
You talk about working with youth and youth entrepreneurs because that is the future, so to speak. What can you tell me about the entrepreneurship program for youth that's there now?
Okay, so it's something that's called Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge, and it's been run in the schools. But last year, it kind of they used to run it in November. And then there's a state program and a competition that takes place in March of every year. Last year, they tried to switch the program to the spring semester to align more with the state competition. And and it kind of fell off. So I think maybe one student participated in the state competition. So we'd really like to see, 20 to 50 teams participating in Hutch and surrounding areas in Reno County. And the way that we do that, I think we have to host a real event, maybe at the community college, something where we can get some prize funding for our participants. So whoever wins, has an incentive to win. And but we're going to try to run it in the spring semester this year. So we're getting started on that. Right now, teachers are out of town, administrators are out of town. So we'll try to catch them in early August when they're getting back and start those dialogues.
All right. We are with Graham Klemme this morning. He is the executive director of StartUp Hutch. We'll be back with more with Graham right after this. And we're back on the BW Morning Show. This morning we have Graham Klemme with us. He is the executive director of StartUp Hutch, right across the street here from BW Studios. We talked a little bit at the end of the break, and we were talking about youth entrepreneurship. Just want to touch base if you want to finish up the thoughts there and before we move forward.
Oh, well, I'll just say that, the youth of Reno County, they're the future of this county. And if we want to think about where is Reno County 50 years from now, we want to make sure this next generation is prepared to enter the workforce. And they have the skills they need to start and scale businesses. And hopefully some of that has an economic impact on the county. But, yeah.
I realize StartUp Hutch, you guys receive funding from both the city and the county. And we have County Administrator Randy Partington coming up a little bit later this morning. How's your work with the county? How does that work?
Oh, yeah. So, well, of course, Hutch is the county seat, so our work here is county related, but we really want to get out into communities like Pretty Prairie, Bueller, Nickerson, and other surrounding towns, and have a presence. So Thursday we'll be at the Arlington Art and Farm Market, just with a table set up to meet folks. And we're calling these like kind of pop-up entrepreneurship labs where we can be there as a resource to help folks talk through problems. And even if they don't want to talk then, we can schedule some time and jump on a call, or people can feel free to drop by our office at any point. Anytime we're there, come on in and we'll talk.
You talk about setting up appointments and that. If I'm a small business owner, or if I'm a person who's interested and has an idea that wants to start a small business, what are the first steps in working with StartUp Hutch?
I'd say come on by. You can shoot me an email. It's graham@startuphutch.com. That's GRAHAM. That's step one. But what we like to be involved as early as possible to help you through every step of the way, all the way through an exit strategy. So we're really here for small businesses. That could be less than 20 employees. It could be more than 20 employees. The federal definition for small to medium business is under 500 employees. So we'll work with anyone. Is come as early as possible, but then to think about your long-term strategy. So, they say is the best strategy is to have an exit strategy from the get-go. Understand, where do you want this business to go? Do you want to sell it? Do you want to pass it on to your kids? Do you want to run it for 20 years? That'll impact how you make decisions early on. And it's important to build with that in mind.
I know you talked a little bit about collaborating with people in Wichita and the fact that basically the economy of that town and this town are greatly related. What goals do you have with dealing with people from Wichita or even the surrounding area?
That's a great question. Yeah, we would like to create some opportunities for people to get out here from Wichita. We want to put Hutch on the map. So the ways that I'm doing that is so at the end of this month, July 30th, I'll be speaking at 1 Million Cups in Wichita. That is it's an entrepreneurship ecosystem event. Where I just will go and present on a Wednesday morning over coffee at their co-working space there. We're getting out there and having meetings. We work really closely with SCED, which is the South Central Kansas Economic Development District. SCED provides SBA loans to organizations here in South Central Kansas. And those are excellent resources for entrepreneurs. And then there's a group called Nexus that we want to work more closely with. So we're meeting SCED and Nexus both on the 8th, so next Tuesday.
All right. I know we're running short on time here, but what kind of programs or resources or anything like that are you looking to try to bring in to StartUp Hutch within the next, say, year, 2 years?
Yeah, so a couple of my goals. I'm looking to diversify our group of benefactors. I think everybody wants to see that. Or if we can have more voices at the table, more funding sources, keeping the organization afloat. But we want to use some of that to create some micro grant opportunities. So stay tuned to our programming if you have an idea, because we'll have at some point small amounts of funding, hopefully non-dilutive, to help organizations get off the ground. The other thing I haven't mentioned that I really want to make sure I plug is the Reno County Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Partnership, RCEP for short. It's a coalition of folks throughout the county who are dedicated to developing this ecosystem, and we're closely aligned with the economic development strategy that's going on with the chamber right now.
All righty. I appreciate you coming in. Welcome to Hutch.
Thank you.
It's only a month late, but welcome to Hutch. We've been talking with Graham Klemme. He is the executive director of StartUp Hutch, and we'll be back with BW News right after this.